Today I'm going to be twisting up the Beach Time workshop kit. They give you 3 layouts and I'm going to do something else. Hi, I'm Katie Weeks and I am with the Inspiration Collaboration Design Team and we are twisting up kits this month. Let's take a look and see what's in that Beach Time Scrapbooking workshop kit. You can see the beautiful papers that they have. Each side of the DSP has something totally unique. So I love this paper. I wish I had 2 of this one because the pictures that I'm going to use are from a swimming pool. And I like this. The back side is too busy and does not fit my theme at all, but I might come back and use this one. I don't have that swimming pool water in 2 sheets, but I do have 2 sheets of this one. This reminds me more of a lake or an ocean, but I think I can make it work. And I just love this ombre striped rainbow type print. It's just very pretty, and I want to find a way to somehow work this into the page. This is, and many of these, a couple of these are not double-sided, they just have one side, and I cannot use that palm tree at all. I am going to use some of the cardstock that came in, and I think I can work some of those in with my pictures. And they have a couple of sheets of these punch outs. I don't know if I can use them. I think maybe I can find something to use for one of my journaling pieces off of this sheet, and maybe a few of the random small things I can work in. We'll see. And then here's the sticker sheet, and there is far more on that sticker sheet than you see. There's photo placeholders too, but those little arrows up at the top are full of dots, and so I think I can bring in some of those. There's some of those starbursts. I think those are exciting. Maybe even a couple of these little words I can use as tabs beside my pictures. I think that would be really cute. So I am going to work with some of these punch outs and stickers. Okay, so let's set this aside and see what we can do. I am going to be looking in the January through April mini catalog, and I'm looking at these sketches right here. And this bottom one, I'm going to sketch into a 2-page layout. You see those little banners and pictures? I'm going to stretch it into a 2-page layout like this. So I think I can work off of this sketch, and I'm going to stretch it so those banners go across 2 pages and see what I can come up with. This is just my rough sketch. We'll see how it evolves as we go through the process though. So let's get started. I'm going to start by taking those ombre papers, and I cut them so I had like 1.5 inches along each of the sides, and then I cut the wavy papers to, I believe, 11 by 11, and I put them down, and I just put some old cardstock behind it that I'm no longer going to use. Now these ombre papers, these strips I cut at 1.25 inches, and it didn't fit perfectly into this little banner thing, but I think I can turn it over and kind of line it up and figure out where's halfway and just make some nice little banner tips at the end. So I'm going to do that. And these, of course, were 12-inch strips, and I need it to be longer than 12 inches to stretch across to both layouts. So what I'm going to do is I will cut when it's behind things. Now I'm going to first take my Pretty in Pink Stampin' Pad and just kind of soak in some of that ink along the edges of each of these long banners. So I'm just setting it on the ink pad, letting some ink get absorbed up into that. And since I have a banner tip, I can just fold that banner tip a little bit, not real sharp crease or anything, but I'll just kind of fold it a little bit and then set that tip down in there, and that works. So I did that to both of those long strips. I did the other one off camera. So I think this is the basic layout that I think I want to use, and I will chop those off and make them stretch across the 2 pages. So let's see what these pictures might look like. I know I have some going vertically and some going horizontally, and I had 2 3x4s that I made into one 4x6 up there on that right-hand layout. And the rest of these I think will work. I just have to decide which ones to lay over and under. I thought about doing a flip flap with those 2 3x4s, and then ultimately I decided I think I will just take this other picture and cut it down to a 4x4. Actually, I cut everything a 1/4 inch smaller, so my pictures are 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. This one will be 3 3/4 square, and those smaller ones are not 3x4. They'd be 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. But I will put everything on 4x6 mats, and the square one will be on a 4-inch square for a mat. So I think that'll work just fine. I kind of like this layout. I obviously can chop out big chunks of those banners so I can stretch them across. And now I'm going to bring in some cardstock. So let's look at some Strawberry Slush, maybe bring in some Timid Tiger and Daffodil Delight. I think those will make great mats. So these are my 4x6 mats, and I want to put one of each color on each of the 2 sides. So one of each color on the left-hand layout and one of each color on the right-hand layout. If I can see what looks like it will look okay with each of these pictures. Yeah, I think that'll work. I just need to trim this one down to the 4-inch square, and I can make all of these work. So chop this one down, and that should be just fine. So that'll give me a variety of color, and then I still want to work in some more of that rainbow stripe. So I'll have it going across on the 2 banners, and I'm going to go ahead and put all of these pictures on their mats. Okay, so now it's time to stretch those banners across the 2 pages. So I can see how much of this I can chop out. Most of this whole page, I will be able to chop out a lot of that banner. So I'm going to put this down. I centered it around the 9-inch mark. So it went just probably 9.5, 9 3/4 inch was the top of this banner. And then I'm going to use a T ruler here just to keep things nice and lined up across the 2 pages. So let's see how far I need to. As I put my pictures down, I will see how far I can stretch that strip, that banner across the page. So I will get some of these down. I'm putting some foam tape on the back of this one picture because I really want to make sure it is elevated a little bit. And yeah, I can chop up a whole bunch of this. So right in the middle of that purple is probably going to work just fine. So I will trim this piece. That way I can make it stretch across the 2 pages. And then I will continue to use my T ruler to line it up carefully from the left-hand side all the way across to the right-hand side of that left layout. Do you see how I'm using this T ruler? I put it right underneath the bottom. I see where I am on my rulers on the side of my mat, and I would love it if Stampin' Up! Would come out with a scrapbooking mats like these. I know we have our glass mat, and I like that, but to work across two layouts, I really like having these two mats. So then I popped this one up. It has foam tape under that picture. And then I will do the same process lining up this rest of it. So I'm going to trim a little bit from this strip and put it on the left side of that picture that I'm going to add, and then I'm going to extend the rest of it out past the picture. So I'll leave a gap behind the picture here. And then the exact same thing is what's going to happen on the bottom, only working from the right to the left. And I just love all these pictures of the girls swimming. They had such a great time when we were at the lodge swimming, and I will do a little journaling box that'll go on here as well. So this picture at the bottom, I think I want to make sure that the whole strip will extend out past it, and stay tuned because I'm going to do another fun technique with this striped paper. Actually, there's a sticker, I think it is, that looks like this striped paper that I'm going to use and incorporate into my title. So I'm going to stick this picture down first because it is going to be underneath that 4x6 picture, and I'm trying to line up those pictures so that the tilt on the angle of that picture at the top will extend down to the bottom. And then the picture that I put on top, I did put some foam tape on the back so that that one will be just a little bit elevated on the top. And then I will cut some of that strip of paper so that it will stick out and then extend across the gap to the other layout, just like I did at the top of the page. So I do want to mention we have a really fun sign up special, join special for anybody who would like to sign up to be a demonstrator in the month of February. It is for the same price as normal, but they're going to throw in the new Stampin' platform that Stampin' Up! Just released. Now, it is going to be available to everybody in the future potentially, but we have no word on that really. So if you want to get that, you need to jump on and sign up. You can get more information over at Kati, K-A-T-I, weeks, W-E-A-K-S, .stampinup.net. The other great thing that's going on for the month of February is we can cash in those coupon codes for our bonus bucks that we earned in January. I've already cashed in all of mine on one big order, and it was so fun to go shopping with all of those bonus bucks. So make sure you look through your email, get those coupon codes, and you just put them in when you have everything in your shopping cart as you're getting ready to check out. Okay, and as I put this last strip down, I'm going to remind you that I'm using a T-ruler to line up those strips of papers as they come across my layouts. So I decide how far in I want it to approximately be, because I want to have a certain amount sticking out, but not too much. And then I will line this up and then put that down with a little gap behind that picture. Nobody will know that these strips of paper were only 12 inches because I really stretched them across the layouts. And then I'm using this T-ruler to line up the angle of the picture so that it mimics the angle of the picture up top. You might think this is just, kind of a small detail to pay attention to, but for me, I don't know. I like things to sometimes line up, and I think that just is an easy way to line it up. I don't know that the pictures tilting each direction is the exact angle on both pages, but when one is stacked over the other, I just find that it's a really easy way to line them up by using the T-ruler, and it just gives a nice, clean, finished look to the layout, even though things are kind of at wonky angles. Okay, so here's a fun technique. I took my Alphabet Alamo dies and I put that strip of sticker on the cardstock, and then I die cut out all my letters. That gave me a 2-for-1. So now I have a title for later that has the negative image, and I have the ones up top for this layout. And here's how they look on the layout. Isn't that adorable? You can see I added some other starburst type stickers, and there's my extra title. So I'm sure I will be doing more of these layouts. In fact, we're going back to the same lodge this next summer. And can you see the little dots? Those came out of the sticker sheet as well. So there are a whole lot more stickers on there than you would even first see, like from my shot. Now I'm taking my Wink of Stella pen and I'm shaking it up good, and I have a silicone mat. On that silicone mat, I've added some various Stampin' spots. I listed them in the description below. And then I went around and I colored several of these little starbursts so they had a shimmer to them, and I also colored some of the dots with it. I believe the colors for my Stampin' spots were like Azure Afternoon, Flirty Flamingo, Shy Shamrock, and maybe Berry Burst, I think. And so they all went with this whole theme that went on those strips of paper, those, oh, what would you call it, like ombre rainbow striped paper and the sticker sheet. And it just gave it a little pizzazz. After I went in with this shimmer brush, I also went in and outlined some of them with a Spectrum Noir Gold Nugget metallic marker. And then I came in with a gel pen that was like a gold jelly roll gel pen as well to go around some of those starbursts, and it just gave it a nice little sparkle and shine, and I liked the effect that it had on it. I will hold some of these up a little bit closer, and can you see that shimmer? I just like how it added a little shimmer to the layout. And here's the other page. You can see I used some of those cutouts for my journaling on the right hand side, and I hope you enjoyed how I twisted up this kit. I really liked taking the sketch from the catalog and stretching it into a 2-page layout. Make sure you check out the other girls in the collaboration.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crafty inspiration.